Okay, so you've ordered on Mother's Day at home, Dine at home, Moritz chicken pack, and I'm going to show you now how to roast the chicken, which is the most tricky bit of what you'll have to do, because most of the stuff is just simple, either reheating or quick frying. Now, at this point, if this is your lunchtime on Mother's Day, you want to get everything else out the fridge and start to do your starters, plate them, and get ready to sit down after this. But with your chicken in the bag, what you need to do is to, when it arrives, it will either arrive fully frozen or starting to defrost. You need to put it in your fridge so it does defrost, because you want it ready for when you eat on the Sunday to be fully defrosted. And then 2 hours before you're ready to eat and cook it, take it out the fridge so you're putting it in at room temperature. And that's what I've done with this bag here. So this is going to be something similar to what you will have. I've had to have a guess because we still haven't quite decided if we're going, at this stage, if we're going to put the onions in the bag or not. I don't think we will, because we're going to freeze them first. So this has got your marinated chicken in. I've had it out for 2 hours, so it's at a nice room temperature. I'm just going to give it a squish. You see what I'm doing? Just to get the marinade in everywhere, in the wings. Now, you will either have it in a Ziploc bag or a vacuum pack bag. If it's a vacuum pack bag, you want to snip it and cut it. If it's a Ziploc bag, you want to just pull it across and then open it like that. And this Ziploc bag is a cheap one from Lidl, and it doesn't. Okay, so you've given this a good squish and you've opened up the top of your bag. You will also have a can of Moritz. Now then, I've got Moritz Zero at home. You will be getting a can of regular strength Moritz. It doesn't matter, because they both taste identical and they taste fantastic. You will also need to get yourself a roasting tin or dish. Now, I'm using this cast iron one. It's about 12 inches, 30 centimetres, in diameter. You don't want a big full-size roasting tin, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the beer and pour between 1/3 and 1/2 of it in the tin. And the bigger the tin, the more it will evaporate, and you don't want that to happen. So have it round about 12 inches, maybe 18 inches maximum in width, nothing too big. You then, this is the tricky bit, make sure you've got your sleeves rolled up. You're going to put this can, I'm going to get the onions out the way, put the can into the neck of the chicken. You're going to get messy fingers, don't worry about that. So, like so. See, like this. And then, very gently, you're going to have to hold the bag and make sure that the legs come out to balance the chicken. Squeezing to make sure that all of the marinade comes out and none of it is wasted. And all the onions are out for me. I've got all that. I'm just going to push those onions so they're down into the beer, because I want them to cook in the beer. Now, you will have your onions separate. What you will want to do is, once you've tipped your chicken and marinade out, get your onions and just spread them around the roasting tin in the beer itself. I'm going to push that down, get it nice and balanced. See as that's balanced, it's sitting there in all of its pride. Make sure you have something handy to wipe your hands. And then I'm going to put this in the oven for my oven, 185 degrees for about 40 minutes. You will have the instructions written down for you with the pack. This is a hot cooked chicken in a fairly short space of time. The chicken cooks by the beer evaporating from the can, cooking it from the inside, as well as roasting it from the outside and getting a really fantastic colour. The other thing you'll just need to do, if you have a look in my oven, not too closely because it's not been cleaned recently, I have taken my shelves out and I'm using the lowest shelf because it's quite tall, this chicken. I'm going to put it in. Mine's a fan oven, which is why I've done it at 185. If you don't have a fan oven, you want to put it in probably about 195. And that's going to go in for 40 minutes. See how it's stood up nice and upright? Close the door, and I'm going to leave it. And we're going to come back in 40 minutes time. Okay, so that tells me 40 minutes have gone by. Let me turn it off. And let's go around and just check. What I'm looking for, and I'm hoping in the oven, is a nicely coloured, darkened chicken that clearly will be well cooked at this time. So let's come around. So this has now had 40 minutes on at my oven at 185. It's looking fantastic. You can just see from here. Oh, look at that. And yes, that's exactly that charring I want. And if you just look down, look at those juices. The beer's evaporated, the onions have softened. Now then, I'm going to leave that to stand for 2 or 3 minutes because it's going to be too hot to touch. But in the meantime, if you just have a look what I've got ready. Now you don't need all of these, but they help. Because ultimately, I've got to lift the chicken off the can. And tongs of any sort come in handy. A fork, now it can be a table fork, but I like a good carving fork is useful to stick in it to help get it off the can. And then lastly, we're going to cut this up and portion it. Now, I find best or to use poultry scissors or just good, thick, sharp, strong scissors like this. Make sure you clean them very well first. Dip them in some boiling water so you don't have some of your toenails on them because you don't want that going in the chicken. Or a sharp knife and a chopping board. But I'm going to show you how to use it with scissors because it is so quicker and easier and safer with scissors. So we'll let this stand for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and I'll be back in a jiffy. See you in a minute. Okay, so 4 or 5 minutes have gone by. Now, this is the tricky bit of getting the chicken off. Now then, I've got 2 pairs of tongs, so I'm going to start off and see if that works first. I have a plate by my side ready for the chicken to go on. So I'm hoping you've watched this before you put the chicken in the oven so you have an idea of what to do. Now imagine I'm just going to put the tongs to get under the armpits, the wings of the chicken. And with these other set of tongs, I'm going to keep hold of the can. Now if you don't have 2 tongs, I can also stick this in the chicken and lift it up with my fork and keep hold of the can with the tongs. Now the reason why I'm using tongs on the can is it's got half full of boiling beer. It's going to be quite hot on my little tender fingers. But first of all I'm going to try with 2 tongs because I have more control over that way. Now you just have to be a bit careful because what I don't want to happen is I don't want to topple it over. So that's gone under. I've got a nice grip, I think. Yeah, ish. I'm going to pull the can off. Now that beer, oh, that's come off perfectly. There's some onions in there. I'm going to put that on the plate. Look at that chicken. Now what I'm going to do with the beer is pour it all in the tin. So you want to use a tin that you can put ideally onto your stove top. Now then, if you don't have a roasting tin you can put onto your stove top, just tip all of this into a small pan. Because all I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir to mix it all in. That's the colour, see, it's nice and brown. But you can't just have it like that, we need to reduce it down because the beer is quite bitter and sharp at this point, and cooking it down thickens it up, also brings out the sweetness in it and blends it with the marinade. Okay, so because this is hob proof, I can put this on. Put the light on. Putting that on. Oh, I'm getting TikToked. Shush. I'm going to put this on a medium to low heat because I want to boil this up. I'm going to get it boiling first, and then I'll reduce it down, and I'll see you in a few minutes when it's up to a bubble so I can show you what to do next. Okay, so this is now on a nice boil. I'm going to reduce it down to medium and give it a stir. And I just want it to keep on boiling and reducing down till it's reduced by about half. 5, maybe 10 minutes, and it will soften those remaining onions. So just on a little rumbling boil, not too low, because I do want the beer to boil down. If there was alcohol in it, we're boiling off the alcohol, but I'm obviously have used 0 beer because I'm a good lad these days. Okay, so I will see you, because this is going to be interesting, just stand watching this reduce down a bit over 5 minutes. I'll see you in 5 minutes or so when this is ready. But in the meantime, we're going to have to go back to the chicken and cut it and have it ready to show. And we'll go on to that next. See you in a moment. Okay, so I have tongs ready because the chicken's still hot. The sauce is just reducing on the hob, and I've got my scissors ready. They're not quite poultry scissors, these, but they're very similar. They're thick and robust. So First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the legs. And I'm going to cut just at that skin there, cut away. And this has been resting probably now for at least 5 minutes, so it's finished off any final cut. And you see the way it's just breaking now. That's the backbone of the chicken. I'm cutting on there. It's still quite hot for me to touch, so I'm not going to. I've got one leg there. Because the backbone bit with all the bits on, it's entirely up to you what you do with that. At home, I like to say that for churros because he's such a good boy. So I'll cut those into, I'll separate out the drumstick from the thigh in a minute, but I'm just going to turn this over and show you I've got that off. Now it's got, look at that meat there. You might want that for yourself. Beautiful, beautiful skin as well. So I'm just going to go along the backbone at the back, get this out. And this is why the scissors are much better, because you can do it with a knife, but it's so much easier with scissors. Now then, I'm going to cut off the wing, and I'm going to go in, and I just want to get a little bit of breast meat off. You feel where the joint is? I see the way it just comes off beautifully and so easily. That shows that it's really well cooked. There's juices on this plate that I'm going to be using and putting back in the pan. You just cut that off. And I've got the 2 wings. Now I've got 2 breasts. I'm going to go in at the top end, cut along the backbone, separate them out, and down into the cavity, cut through the skin, and I've got 2 gorgeous, look at those 2 huge breasts. I've got 2 fantastic wings, and I've got 2 legs. Now then, you might want to just keep it at that. I prefer to separate them out and get, in effect, get 10 portions out. 2 drumsticks, 2 thighs, 2 half breasts, and 2 wings. Partly because it's mostly a lane night and we can eat that over a few days. And you also get a chance to have so many different bits of meat. So I'm going to cut the 2 breasts up first, get 2 pieces out of that. This is where see the way the scissors just work so effortlessly through. And it also, for presentation, it looks so good in the pan. Going to get the legs, just trim around the drumsticks. I want to try and keep the skin on, because the skin with that marinade is just out of this world. See that? And then I'll just do this one, and then pretty. I've gone at this a different way. Let me go that way so I can get the angle around the bone. That's it. See the way I just cut through? So there we have it. I've got it all portioned up. And now I will take you back to the pan and see what's happening. Churros. Churros are a beautiful dog, enormously. And he's actually getting the chicken oysters because I'm such a good dog owner. Look, just look how good he is. Good boy. Sit. Let me do. Paw. You're on camera. Oh, good boy. Other paw. Other paw. Other paw. Oh, like that. Oh, good boy. Turn around. Look at this. Look at me as I'm the best human in the world. Good boy. Oh, good boy. And we'll have to give him another piece because he has been so good. Now we'll get lots more than this. Sit. Good boy. Gentle, gorgeous. I present you Churros, Lunya's mascot. Okay, so what we now have, we have our cut up chicken on the plate with lots of juices. Plus we have our...
Churros.
And we have churros looking, wondering if we're going to get some more. And look at that sauce now, just bubbling away. Now then, I am going to get a clean spoon and just test it to see how it's doing. Important. Now, obviously, if this wasn't on camera, I'd be using that spoon, but I have to be careful. Because in case anyone follows my bad habit, we don't do that in the restaurant, obviously. Have a little taste. And I'm tasting to see, is the sweetness there, because that marinade has got honey in and sweet soy sauce. I'm testing to see, has the bitterness of the beer gone? Now, obviously we got this recipe from the Moritz factory using Moritz lager. And I've tried all sorts of other beers. Moritz beer works just the best. I have tried it with an IPA. And it's all right, but I think you get too much bitterness from it. But you know, if you want to do this again in the future, and use another beer, you can use whatever canned beer that you like, but just be aware every beer is a bit different. Now then, look at the thickness of it. We just have another little taste. I think for me, that's right. It's got the right thickness, right colour, and the most amazing flavour. Now then, this plate, as you'll see, has got incredible juices on. But I'm going to just first of all rearrange my chicken so it looks lovely to serve. Let me get my spoon out because it's just a centerpiece at the table. And what a way to treat your mum and the family to probably the most sensational roast chicken I suspect you will have ever had, because it is, as you'll discover, it's so incredibly succulent and tender and flavoursome. The flavour. Look at those bits of breast. Put a bit of thigh on as well. Put a bit of thigh on there. I'm going to say that's my little bit of backbone. I'm saving that for churros. I have promised to finish. And cut chicken in. And I'm just going to get that's churros's bit, my remaining bits of onion and juice into the pan. And then turn the heat off. Just let those juices reduce down a bit. Oh, there's a bit of skin we can't. That's probably too good a bit of skin for churros, I think. Let's put that. That will be ready, but just let me turn the heat off and I'll show you how to serve it. Just hang on, get my cap. Okay, I've turned the heat off. It stopped bubbling. The pan's going to be very hot. I'm getting it with churros licking my spillages. Lift up. Now this was a fantastic cast iron pan I found on the internet. I can't remember where. We have them in the restaurant as well. And just to serve it, just because it looks so pretty, I'm going to get Moritz. It's deserved centre stage. And you want to serve that at the table with the juices. Have that with your patatas bravas, with your padron peppers, and if you have any lovely crusty bread, dip them into those sauces, don't waste them. Doesn't that look an absolute picture? I guarantee it'll be the tastiest, the most succulent, the most juicy, the most fabulous roast chicken you've ever had. In 40 minutes and it's cooked perfectly. Thanks very much. Listen everyone, have a fantastic Mother's Day. Enjoy your time with your mum, your family, however you're spending it, and see you soon.